And now coming up the chain, our basic introduction for shoulder mechanics. The first thing that I want to start with here is something that I stole from Eric Cressy, and that is just keeping the ball on the tee. This is a euphemism that has just worked extremely well. I have a very, very robust history of working with athletes with shoulder trauma, and that's one that really has helped make sense of things to them in a basic manner. So keeping the ball on the tee, all we mean by that is that the humerus needs to centrate into the scapula. And that junction or that joint action is very delicate. There's very, very small amounts of margin there. And for the sake of the athlete's understanding, we want to be able to get them to understand how the body position is going to correspond to keeping that ball on the tee. From there, we want to discuss the relationship between the humerus and the scapula. We know that there's, loosely a 2-to-1 ratio there, where for every 2 degrees of humerus action, we're going to get about a degree of scapular movement. But for the sake of the athlete, that's not going to mean anything to them. All they need to be aware of is that there's going to be congruency or compatibility between that humerus action or arm action and the scapula corresponding as well. Lastly, and this is especially important for athletes who are coming off of injury, whether it's a slat tear or rotator cuff tear, but I'm always sure to introduce the hand-eye rule. So if you have somebody who's coming off of, like we'll say a labral tear, for instance, a good rule of thumb to follow is that if I can't see my hand in my eyesight or in my peripheral view, then I'm in a dangerous position. So as I get more into flexion, I lose sight of that hand, that's going to be a vulnerable position for the shoulder. That's going to be a very easy one for them to understand and then adhere to thereafter.